least be seeing NiP qualify to the minor from this game. However, a lot of time before that happens yet as we get right into the action very early. PHR and Furlan to both find kills onto these NiP players being ripped to shreds right now. Get Right has to try and find a 1v4. He does find 2 kills. Even looking for a 1v3 now as Tao is tagged down very low, but Groovy is there to finish off. It is going to be Ago to claim the first pistol round. But with that, it is going to be this T side to head into their very good buy round. AKs across the field for 4 players. The single Mac-10 onto Tao, which is something that is questionable. Losing these AKs to the CT side can get very, very dangerous. Still, though, we do have Get Right onto the Scout, which is somewhat of a good move, especially to get a Scout in the second round. PHR is going to be tagged because of it, but Groovy with a great first spray down finds himself 2. Tao is there to clean up a 3rd as well, so should be how the progression of the second round goes here. We do see just 2 players left alive for NiP, Dennis and Rez. And as they move down toward this B bomb site, should be a simple take. Smokes go down, utility to fly out just to protect the bomb site. But really, as that bomb heads onto the site, plant should be safe already. Rez to be shut down. Dennis now alone, 1v5, and that's a second round for Ago. So as we come into this sort of first map, going to be seeing, of course, Ago's map pick first, which was Cash. NiP gone for their sort of solid pick right now of Overpass. We saw it played against Nordavind yesterday, where they took somewhat of a convincing 2-0. And then train if it is so needed, which might just happen, especially where the sort of games get very competitive to tie and qualify for the European minor. But in this third round, going to be that full eco coming through from NiP. There's no real urgency for them to head into the full buy. They would not have enough money, so that 1 eco to come through. Not be expecting much here from NiP, but they are looking to get a couple of kills on the board. Does get shut down very quickly though by Furlan and Snatchy. Ago do claim a 3rd, so that's a pretty simple comfort round gain from them. It's sort of common law that you win the first pistol round, you then have a great chance at winning the 2 after that, which Ago have clearly done here. NiP now heading into their full buy round though, as the M4s come out for that CT side, the utility to follow, even the defuse get on to Get Right, which we see him typically being the player to buy that first defuse kit rather than the rest of his team, as he is sort of that support role. But he's been, for me, performing with a lot more leniency from the team. They seem to allow him to sort of just make plays that he wants to make, as we already see Groovy take him out right at the server, which is not great for NiP to start. It is going to be Rez to try and swing into B main, though. Just catch Snatchy off guard on the edge of the smoke, but Ago will be wanting somewhat of a quick trade as they try and break inside of the vents. Nevertheless, though, NiP into that 4 versus 4. Forrest is able to land 1, but Groovy a little bit slow to react. Forrest has managed to finally get shut down, which is what Ago need when they try and enter the bomb site here. 3 versus 3, and with good utility usage, Rez can actually drop a smoke and try and push out with B main. That's a great first play from him, and now just Groovy alone 1v3. This should be NiP's first round, and it definitely is. And there you go, NiP pick up their first. Ago can afford the rebuy somewhat comfortably as well. A lot of cash here on that T side. Right now it's about NiP just remaining strong. They've had to rebuy into a utility, their grenades, even somewhat of a Kevlar buy as well, because players of course do get tagged. So the money is still sitting low for NiP. Maybe winning 1 more round would somewhat benefit that. But Ago again, they have got some form of leniency with their cash to be able to rebuy. Get Right again, dying first in the round, which is not great going into these early passages of play. Losing that sort of mid-control already. You can see Groovy pushed up towards white box and has the support from the players on top of Boost. Furlan. Not Groovy. Still, it's going to be that sort of A to mid bomb site split. Furlan able to get a lot of progression up towards white box. Bomb deep inside of A main, and Furlan can really start to rip to shreds here. NiP as he sprays down 2, finally. Forest can come in from the flank, but maybe too little too late as that bomb goes down here on the A site. 55 seconds turns into 40, and a 2 versus 4 retake here from Forest and Rez. A little bit of damage to be done here onto Groovy. PHR is down to 10 points of health. But it all depends on how Aggo play their after plants right now. They're getting into some good positions deep inside of A main toward the quad. Sitting by Forklift. Even the one player inside of mid on Snatchy trying to just hold off the rotates, but they are going to let those 2 guns escape toward the B bomb site. Whether Aggo will hunt is questionable because their money is not great, but it's not as bad as NiP. Still, though, we are going to be seeing that reset here onto that CT side. The money going to be somewhat of an issue here going into the 6th round. Especially considering that Snatchy did not lose his AWP. That's money they do not have to spend. Allows for that utility to come back through, and especially on a T side, and especially with a Polish side like Aggo, who are very tactically involved, they can really start to punish NiP, especially now that the force buy has come through already. Furlan straight into B main, no care in the world. Still, though, a retake to try and come through into vents. Lecro will find one, but he'll die very quickly. Not sure whether they expected Forest to be sat as close as they would have liked here inside of deep vents. Drops inside of B main, but PHR to manage the situation well. Ruby to find one as well, and that's a 5th round for Aggo. NiP down to their eco round now. Very, very minimal investment coming out from the CT side. One Desert Eagle to be brought up by Forest, but that's pretty much it. Wanting to just preserve all of that economy going into the buy round, which is probably the most smart decision they've made so far. Reed was a little bit concerned. I don't know if he saw Letcro straight away. It's one of the moments where you see a player and you're like, did I actually see him there? But was managing to take down Letcro. Finally, Rez does trade him back. There was Groovy, shuts down Get Right once again, dying inside of that middle progression. Molotov goes down. Snatchy is trying for that peak. Rez is there, though. Deep inside the Molotov. Snatchy maybe got a little bit too impatient right there. Forest tries to at least trade one back, but it's not going to happen. Could have been even a tied situation if they would have found that kill. But still, I go with that bomb down, looking to get their 6th round, and have somewhat secured that already. Both NiP and Aggo, of course, one best of 3 series victory away from qualifying to the EU minor. But nevertheless, NiP just going to head into the save. They have actually managed to retrieve the AWP onto Rez from Snatch's dead body, which is always great, and they look to be able to keep that as well. There's no real urgency from Aggo to hunt down these 2 players. Dennis will even get himself an AK as well, which is great for them. Means that 2 players can really focus on buying the utility to get the defuse kits and just somewhat add some more security to NiP on the CT side. But nevertheless, Aggo 5 rounds in the lead here on the T side of Cash. Their Map picked their home turf in this best of 3, so most likely will be expected for them to even take this series. Still a lot of damage being done down toward Deep Highway. PHR going to be tagged down to 16, which is some good early damage being done by NiP. Would have been great if that actually transferred into a kill through the smoke. Wasn't going to happen, however. Still, NiP not really focusing too much toward mid. Finally going to rotate some players through as Dennis will hold down toward White Box now. Gets himself in a somewhat decent angle. Swing out from Furlan, going to be shut down by Dennis. He'll find 2. Much better play from the CT side so far. PHR will be able to deny one in return, but Rez sat very close to the B bomb site, expecting the peak of the AWP from Snatchy. Flash is good. Bomb tries to cross and tower gets shut down. Ooh, still PHR misses one shot, but Forest to close him out eventually, making it 6-2 as NiP grab their second round of this first map. Money is somewhat good for Aggo. Those towers on $10,000 can drop if needed. Still though, NiP nowhere near secure in this first half yet, needing maybe 2 or 3 more rounds just to somewhat guarantee that. Some good early damage once again being done by NiP, however, as Groovy will fall very early. Tau also to be tagged down to 36. Now, NiP, they do not want to let these trades come through, do not want to let this round slip away, because doing so will once again start to whittle down the bank balance of Aggo, which is, especially with a 6-round sort of barrier here on that T side, where you can somewhat clash that as a successful half. They can't be letting the rounds then fall away from them. Molotov goes down, but Forest still going to peek inside of it. Good idea from him as he is able to eliminate Furlan. Now into a 4v3. Letcro and Dennis to find 2 more kills. PHR in a 1v4 already being hunted. We'll find the 1 kill onto the 4th player of Dennis. Tries to swing out and will actually take down Forest. He was somewhat tied by that previous Molotov, but Letcro there to deal with the situation. 3rd round for NiP. And I go, what do they want to do right here? Tower's already purchased up into an AK, can drop 1 more as well. So it looks like the rest of the team is just going to buy with him. But even so, it is going to be Aggo that try and get themselves back in the driving seat here for this 10th round. We've seen a 3rd of regulation play being played already, which to say 10 rounds have been played, it's somewhat of a close scoreline. Maybe not as close as NiP would have liked here, but all they've got to do right now is just keep playing how they have been. Still, Tao able to catch one off guard, 2-for-1 trade, and make that 3-for-2 as NiP. The rafters of that B bomb site burst open by Aggo. HR to eliminate Get Right, and as that bomb does go down, it is Letcro alone, 1 versus 3. We'll be able to find 1 kill, but is it just a consolidation? Letcro needs at least 1 more to have a good chance in the round. If he takes out Snatchy, it puts him in a duel with the low HP player, but with only being on 15 points of health himself, he's just going to make the call to save that AK into the next round. But it does give Aggo a chance at a 7th round, and that is secured already because 7 goes onto the board and could give Aggo a chance to even win the first half outright already here, because the money of NiP, after just losing that 1 round, is going to really start to hurt them. Rez is on $1,400. Get Right and Forest not sat all that great themselves. Dennis low as well. So the only player with money is the only surviving player of Letcro. He will just be down to keep the AK. The rest of the team not investing. A couple of pistols to be dropped by Letcro, but apart from that, it's pretty limited. Still though, Furlan able to make a quick play out inside of mid. Rez will fall somewhat early. Letcro with the AK, able to grab a trade onto Furlan, which is making it back into an equal situation. Still though, Snatchy and Groovy to both deny. Letcro trades 1 back, and so does Forest. But finally, I go to manage that pistol situation well, make it 8. And now what do NiP want to do? Letcro should most likely purchase an AWP, which he is going to do. Couple of FAMASs in the field though, which might be somewhat of a disadvantage here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. I go with maybe a chance to even take this to double figures very early. Forest able to spam through the smoke. Does actually come off worse though. Rez is in a great angle. He's the first player underneath of the smoke. Goes down one. Snatchy is able to trade Rez eventually. But as that utility comes flying out toward that B bomb site. Going to actually rotate 2 players inside of CT. The A bomb site is somewhat clear right now. But Ago just trying to play the mind games here with NiP. Not really rotating off of the back of that utility. Still keeping 1 player out toward the A site. A further 4 players of Ago out toward B. Especially with Tau being low HP. The execution of this bomb site has to be so pristine right now. Still Forest. Here in the utility, flying over toward that B bomb site. Get right burning in the molly. We'll find one. Trade comes through and still the frags to be traded back and forward. Both Groovy and Tau somewhat low here for this T side though. Forest takes care of one and now just Groovy alone. 1 versus 2. 20 seconds on the clock. And he will actually try and head around towards A right now. I don't think he'll have time to do so. He might just make it out towards Highway, but it's going to be very, very limited. He's trying to actually get back on towards B. I do not see a world where he can win this, so it is going to be Groovy that will just save the AK. NiP do make it 4, however, and they go into another spell of rounds potentially to be able to clutch these ones out. However, after losing 3 players, money's starting to get somewhat limited. Have to drop weapons here, and there's only going to be 2 available. But there we go. Looks like somewhat of a bit of a pause. Not too sure. Looks like we're already live already. But it is going to be... Okay, there we go. Now we're live. But it is going to be Ago that will force up into this round. Of course, they have the economy to do so. But still, NiP with 4 rounds is moderately okay. They need quite a few more. Maybe 1 or 2, max 3 would somewhat close out a good half. Try and make it 8-7, that'd be a great scoreline. Let Crow through the smoke though. Nice little spammable position for him. Does manage to eliminate Furlan. Dennis and Forest both find kills as well. Get right from deep inside of mid. Does get taken out by Groovy, but 4 versus 2. Oh, Tau sneaks into quad though. Unnoticed by NiP, and Dennis will fall. That makes it a 2v3. One trade from Ago might really unsettle Ninjas in Pajamas here, but Forest, a good angle to close out the kill onto Groovy. Rez finds one as well, so that's Tau taken out. A 5th round for NiP. Ago now down to an eco. For the first time in this game so far, we see the T-side's money taken away from them. Down to basic pistols here for Ago. Looks like it is going to be somewhat of a quick B rush here for this T-side. Snatchy the first to fall already, however. Bomb is inside of B main, but it's a little bit stuck for now. No real way to cross toward the back of the bomb site. Or toward B main. Getting checkers will be a very hard task here, but there you go, already for us to find 2. Does get dinked in the process, but Let Crow again being that turret posted towards the back of A main. But again, Ago trying to just get behind NiP. They've done it somewhat successfully out towards A, but the final player, Groovy, inside of the back of heaven, trying to sneak his way on through. I mean, Ago are playing somewhat of a tactical T side, which is good for a side like Ago because they do rely on a lot of utility usage, but a lot of their plays have been very, very slow, which NiP do a great job of reading. Groovy, though, will actually take out Lecro. Finds the knife kill into his back and gets himself $1,500 plus an AWP. Don't think he'll survive for long, though, as he does get tagged down to 24. Well, there you go. Get right to finally finish him off. AWP wasn't going to last for long. Going into the final round of the first half. NiP trying to close it down at 8-7. Would be a good scoreline to head into that T side with, especially considering that this is Ago's map pick, and you'd expected a lot more flashy executions and strats coming through from their T side. Already Forest and Lecro to find 2 kills. However, Furlan again trying to shift up toward that mid position. Not going to work as Forest will find 2. Great double from him inside of mid. Tao is now alone into that 1 versus 5. And he's going to be very, very limited. Forest is already locking down that angle. Does get caught off by Tao, however. As he does inside of B main, we'll get a second kill onto Rez. Another bite at the bullet here as he moves out toward that B bomb site. Smoke and Molly to head out toward these most important angles of the B bomb site. Both players now inside of sort of the CT, one inside of Z, one back of the CT spawn, so it allows that bomb to potentially be planted. Already Dennis to come out of heaven, able to find the kill. Great little retake from NiP. Wasn't really much of a challenge. Close it out 8-7 at the end of the first half. And a good one from NiP to claw those rounds back, considering that Ago had a great scoreline to start with. Either way, going to be 8-7 at the switch. Pistol round is going to be a very important one because of the scoreline being that close. It's just going to take a lot for both teams to start to stray away from their opponents. But either way, I go kind of favor them in the pistol round, but then NiP, if they can make this one play toward mid work, then I don't know. It might be a way for them to try and utilize vent push, which they are doing straight away. I expected that. Rez already to find one, and Dennis comes in with a second. Forrest to find a third, and that's a great pistol round from NiP. Dennis even to find one more. NiP with a beautifully mastered pistol round, not even losing any any players during that pistol round. And that was a very good pistol coming through from NiP. Ago now forced, of course, down to their semi-force here, where we see the pistols and Kevlar be bought. Snatchy, of course, going to Eco for the AWP. Either way, Forrest is going to be trying to make his way inside of middle. Still no real damage to be inflicted as of yet. Dennis with a good first pick inside of the mid-Z. So does manage to dispossess Furlan already. Especially with these eco rounds coming through from Ago, it does give NiP a chance to even push toward double figures. Still Groovy going to hear all the footsteps out towards A main. Spam trying to come through from Highway. Lecro the first to try and enter the bomb site here. We'll be able to find the 1 kill onto Groovy. Pistol going to have no effect whatsoever here for Ago. NiP trying to keep, once again, 5 players alive here. Two final players for Ago. Out toward the mid garage, one sat deep. Toward T-spawn, one more rooted toward the close right box. Forrest seems a little bit aware of it, though. He is constantly checking these two angles, but there's no real peaks from Ago, which does indicate at a sort of exit plan. Ooh, still though, Tao able to find 1 kill, not going to be able to squander the AK from the death, but Either way, it is a kill secured. NiP do make it 9, however. And we will be seeing Ago now down to that full eco round. Snatchy will be able to provide the AWP going into the next round, though, which is what NiP really have to micromanage. Especially on the CT side, where the AWP can be very versatile. You have to really use your utility. Of course, back in the day, NiP very famous for making a lot of these smoke strats and executions we do see on Cash used even still today. The utility has to be somewhat perfect to really be able to just make Ago feel very belittled here on the CT side. But still, with these pistols, trying to make something at least work with them. Tao is already going to fall. However, Get Right using that trusty MP7 again. What we saw him bringing out in the previous best of threes yesterday. Forrest already to find one kill in return. PHR finds 2 with the USP, however. Allows some form of weapon to be secured by this T-side. Further even finds a kill as well. That's not looking great for NiP right now. 2 versus 3 retake. Yes, 2 players are low for this CT side here. Both Snatchy and PHR sat around that 40 points of health mark. Get Right. Double spray down. Perfect. And Letcro closes down Furlan. That makes it 10-8 for NiP. They get 2 rounds in the lead, but Ago now going through onto their bye round. This time we are going to be seeing NiP bringing out the AWP onto Forest. Something that I'm actually somewhat happy they did, because there was a lot of times on the T side yesterday where they weren't utilizing an AWP. Still, the utility is very low for Ago, which is great for NiP. Gives them a real good shot of actually breaching the bomb site somewhat easily. There's no mollies to go down, no HG grenades to try and impact them as they push onto these bomb sites, so it's now just about the raw aim duels, and Rez is able to trade back the 1 kill. Already that bomb plant is going to be successful. Forest to eliminate Snatchy. That's the AWP taken away from the round already, and it might be just Ago to go into the save already. Do manage to pick up that AWP once again, so that can be carried over into the next round, and you can already see players retreating once that first kill came in onto Snatchy. They were out of that bomb site already. They did not want to mess with that with NiP in that after plant. So it is going to be the T side to close down an 11th round, but considering Ago do save the 3 weapons, it's going to be most likely somewhat of a forced buy reinvestment going into the next round. These 3 remaining players can get the pharmacies dropped out to the rest of the team, and they can try and force into the round. So again, NiP will have some form of challenge here coming through into that 20th round. But if they win this next round, NiP could be in such a great position. But actually, Ago say no to that. Ago go down into that full eco. Keep the 3 weapons alive that they saved in the previous round. Leave the 2 further players onto their pistols. Everyone has to buy in the next round. So Ago just seeing how much damage they can actually do with this sort of 3-man gun stack. But even so, NiP already making their way out toward the B bomb site. Snatchy to find 1 kill. Get Right to finally shut 1 down further, but still Snatchy being tagged either way. Dennis inside of CT gets eliminated. Not looking great for NiP right now. 2 versus 3 as that bomb does go down. 1 player inside of Vents, PHR to find a kill, and even has a chance to close down a second. Letcro now alone against 2 somewhat low players, but it will not matter as Groovy is there to find the kill. Defuse comes through, and Ago make the round work. 2 pistols on the side, but it does not matter. Ago this time to actually play a very nice round. Those pistols, of course, could have been either sort of a blessing or a burden, and they seem like the aforementioned. Ago going to be showing some deep aggression inside of A main here. Tau. The spray would have been a little bit more direct, might have done some serious damage to Rez, but nothing of the sort this time, as he only loses 3 points of health. Ooh, that could be risky. Furlan did make some noise being boosted up. I'm not sure how much Rez would have heard of that. I doubt very much, so they might not know he's up that angle, but next time might just want be a little bit more silent getting onto that boost. We did hear the footsteps being made, but he might be safe for now. Or it depends on whether NiP did hear that first sort of little step. Most likely Rez wouldn't have done, so he could be safe, but looks like it might be NiP to try and maybe split toward that A bomb site. Get right playing that lurker role, but most of the attention right now for NiP forced towards mid and Squeaky. As soon as that door gets open and then he fell, and he'll be able to sort of dip back into the shroud position. Get himself safe as the bomb now moves inside of A main. I believe they spotted his feet though as he tries to swing out, but it's not going to work. NiP just burst into the bomb site like we've not seen them do in this entire game on that T side. Snatchy with a great first trade, but it's not going to account for much because NiP, they've forced Ago right out with this bomb site. Snatchy and Groovy to try and save these two AWPs. But NiP with a great play out onto that A site. However, as Ago do just cling on to these two sniper rifles, NiP managed to make it 12.
Terrorists win.
But still, going into that 22nd round, Ago is not going to have that much cash. Losing this one might seriously damage their sort of credibility to win out this first map. As you can see, the only player with somewhat a bank balance saved up is going to be Snatchy with that AWP. But still, Ninjas in Pajamas. Money's starting to get somewhat stronger, so might be in with a chance of the rebuys for the next couple of rounds, but this might get a little bit pivotal right here because Tau is sat inside of deep vents. Not sure whether NiP will be aware of his positioning right here, just for the fact that he has been sat there for quite a while. But still, NiP starting to get the utility thrown out toward the A bomb site. No real urgency to push off of the back of this yet. Smoke was a little bit inaccurate there as it was thrown. Groovy misses such a vital shot. Snatchy and PHR try and save the day though. Dennis finally finds one, but Tau to deny. And now into a 2 versus 4. Dennis already to be picked off. Forrest is somewhat low and Snatchy finishes him off. Ago playing a great little game there. Closing out a 10th round, getting double figures. Keeping the double op setup alive as well. NiP still able to afford the rebuy, however. Get right. The grenade landing at his feet is not the greatest sort of first round happening you want to occur in this, but Oh, is that very close? Oh, get right spots the nade being thrown, but can't find the kill yet. Tau is there to close it. Dennis does manage to land the trade, however. Still, NiP getting ready to burst out of Squeaky Door. Dennis gets a smoke down towards CT. Still, Dennis finds one onto Groovy. Misguided shot, and Dennis, he's doing all the work right now. NiP have claimed the A site. And Rez with a great tap onto PHR does damage to Furlan as well. And as he is left on 30 points of health, it is going to be that 1 versus 2. Dennis doing some perfect sprays and taps to really sell the fake. A solo fake finds 3 kills. And makes the rest of the job easy for NiP as they just come out onto the A site. The bomb site is absolutely desolate from CT players. Plant goes down and that's the round secure. That's 13-10.
Terrorists win.
But even so, as we do go into that 24th round, Ago's money starting to get somewhat desperate. As they do just go into their pistols for this sort of round on AWP. Of course, saved by Furlan. Ooh, Letcrow transfers the spray very well. Snatchy already to be tagged as well, which is not great here for Ago. 2 players considerably low and 1 dead already. But even so, NiP with a passive play in this round. Smart. They know they know Ago's on an eco. Do not want to be rushing into this. Just for the fact that pistols can be very up and down, very random. Snatchy able to post 1 kill with the AWP, which diverts NiP straight toward that B bomb site. They know that the sniper rifle cannot be in 2 places at once, so NiP going to head round towards B already. Tau might be in a good position to deny, but already the footsteps being heard. Tau will find 1, however. DHR managing to land himself a trade, but into a 3 versus 2. DHR to be closed out. That should be the bomb site, but with 2 weapons here on the CT side, it's not yet confirmed. AWP can have a great chance at providing some form of frag. Forest through the smoke on the edge of it as Groovy pushed on through. That grenade might just land at Snatchy's feet. Nothing he could do about that. That's 14-10. And NiP 1 round away from match point here as Ago have to somewhat force into this round a little bit less than they would like to, because it's going to be somewhat limited on the utility. The defuse kit's lacking and not even full Kevlar. But even against these AKs, full Kevlar not a wise investment anyway. It just highlights the lack of economy Ago do have in this round. Ooh, Forest nearly lands the shot out toward White Box. Dennis to be tagged incredibly though, and same for Forest really. No real trade damage to be made either. Groovy will find the first kill onto Rez. Ago with a great opening piece of damage to be done. Holding on to this round might just give them a chance at survival. Letcrow falls, and that's great for Ago. Snatchy with a great play toward the A bomb site right here. Furlan finally to close down 1, and with Forest alone in a 1v5. DHR to close him down, and Ago with a good set of holds there. Keeping 5 players alive, and that really helps out the economy for that CT side. NiP, however, just down to their pistols. Taking the 1 eco round, which is somewhat smart. Might even have to be a double eco here because Letcrow has a lack of cash, but the rest of the team can't afford the buy rounds. It's one of those sort of cliches where you have to sort of consider, is it worth Letcrow just being on the buy round alone? Or is it worth taking that one extra eco for? Most likely NiP will try and buy into the next round. Still get right. All ready to be shut down. They will find one trade, which is a great kill to find. Still damage to be done to Furlan as well, as he dropped down to 9 points of health. Bomb is stranded towards Highway though, and that should be an Aggo 12th. Starting to make the scoreline a little bit more competitive here for the CT side. Some great damage to be done as well, but not going to transfer any of that into a kill. 14-12, and there you go. It is going to be NiP that do buy into this round. It's a shame for Letcrow that he's only going to be down to that UMP, but it's sort of a situation you have to deal with. But even so, NiP still one round away from their match point here, which right now seems like somewhat of a distant prospect. I'm liking the boost coming out right there, though. Tower going to be put up toward that regular boost position. Oh, but actually, can we just take a look at NiP right now? We've shifted right toward the B bomb site. Rez to be able to find the kill onto Furlan. Ruby gets dinked through vents. Dennis with a really nice pick. Letcrow to aid the damage to be done. The vent has not even been broken yet. Dennis sat right underneath it. Molly goes down, so will force him out of position. But it might just be Aggo to now go into the save right here. As NiP, a beautiful play toward that B bomb site, shifting right underneath Heaven. Tau had, oh sorry, Groovy had no idea that they were coming through B main. I mean, Furlan unknowingly, and rightly so, dropped down toward the bottom of Heaven to be able to just try and, you know, peek B main like a regular player would, but had no idea that NiP were right next to him. So that's 15-12 here, and not looking great for Aggo on their map pick right now. We'll be able to invest into the double AWP setup. But is it too little, too late right here for Aggo? They have to battle back in this round. They have to close this one down, because doing so would actually close out the economy of NiP for pretty much the final 2 rounds of regulation play. So right now it's do or die for Aggo. Once again though, making their plays toward the B bomb site. Grenade goes down, and Furlan on the back of that B bomb site just trying to make the plays. Letcrow finds 2 kills to end, so that might be game over. Get right inside of CT. Does damage onto Greeby, but not able to find the frag. PHR toward vent though. Will he be able to spot out Letcrow? Not just yet, as PHR will fall. That surely is game over right now. As Groovy and Snatchy, 2 versus 4. And as Dennis will eliminate 1, the angle's already being locked down onto Groovy. 20 points of health, and Dennis will clear him up. That's 16-12, and NiP take the first map here on Overpass. No, this is an Overpass. Here on Cash. And find the victory for NiP. They are now 1 map away. That is